Hi everyone, in Algebra 2B, today we're going to be going over lesson 108, which is on the sum and difference of two cubes. Again, there's going to be two equations that you have to have written down, as well as three steps that we're going to be following. So the first one is going to be a first term cube plus a second term cubed, and we're trying to learn how to factor that. And this is what that equation is going to turn out to look like. Then we have first term cubed minus second term cubed, and then this is what that equation, the answer is going to end up looking like. What we're going to do first is you take the cubed root of both of the terms, so the first term and the second term, and then you're going to input whatever you get into. So the first term, when you take the cubed root, you'll replace all the f's in there. Then for the s, you're going to replace all the s's in that equation, and then all you have to do is simplify it. So you would have to multiply this, you'd have to square these two terms, and that would be your answer. So your answer is going to end up looking longer than what your original equation is going to look like. So now moving on to 108.1. So we're asked to factor. So the first step, well, I am going to look at this equation. This is the equation that it's going to look like. So I have my first term cubed minus my second term cubed equals f minus s times f squared plus fs plus s squared. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to take the cubed root of each of those terms. So the cubed root is this. And then the cubed root of p cubed. Basically, that means that you're going to divide each of those terms by 3. So that means I would get x, y for my first term, and then I would get p for my second term. So you just divide these numbers by the exponents by 3. So this is going to be your f, and this is going to be your s, and you're going to plug that into your equation. So it'll be f, which is xy, minus s, which is p, times, I'm going to do this in parentheses, so xy squared plus xy times p plus p squared. So that's step 2, input your f and your s into the equation, and then you're going to simplify it. So your answer should be xy minus p times, I'm going to square that, so that'll be x squared y squared plus pxy plus p squared. And that is going to be your answer. So you take the cubed root of your first and your second term, and then you just plug those terms into this equation. So again, you have to have these equations memorized in order to do so. So if I look at 108.2, I am actually going to start by just writing that equation down. So we're going to use the plus equation. So f cubed plus s cubed is equal to f plus s times f squared minus f times s plus s squared. And now we have to take the cubed root of each of those terms. So the cubed root of 8m cubed y cubed, and then the cubed root of x cubed. So when it's the power, you just divide that power by 3. But when it's a number, you have to find the cubed root of 8. So what multiplied by itself 3 times is equal to 8? Well, that would be 2. 3 divided by 3 is just 1. And 3 divided by 3 is just 1. That's going to be your first term. Then 3 divided by 3 again is 1. So that would just be x. And that will be your second term. So now you're going to plug that into this equation. So your equation is going to be 2my plus x times 2my squared minus 2my times x plus x squared. And then all you have to do is simplify. So the outside stays the same. 2my plus x. Then I'm going to square the 2, which is 4. Square the m, square the y. Multiply the two terms together. So 2mxy. And then square the x is just x squared. And that's your result. So you're just taking the cubed root of terms and then inputting them into an equation. So for 108.3, it's going to be the same equation that we just used on the last one. So that would be first term cubed plus second term cubed equals f plus s, f squared minus fs plus s squared. So now what I have to do is I have to find my first term and my second term. So I'm going to take the cubed root of a to the 12th and take the cubed root of b to the 12th. Well, 12 divided by 3 is going to give us 4. So that would be a to the 4th. And then 12 divided by 3 is 4, so b to the 4th. Now this will be your first term here, and this will be your second term here. So that's what you're going to plug into your equation. So that would be a to the 4th plus b to the 4th times a to the 4th squared plus, oops, that should be a minus, minus a to the 4th times b to the 4th plus b to the 4th squared. Now when you square something like that, you remember you multiply those numbers together. The outside is going to stay the same, so that will still be a to the 4th plus b to the 4th. A to the 4th squared is a to the 8th minus a to the 4th, b to the 4th. Then b to the 4th squared would be b to the 8th. And then that will be your answer. If you wanted to multiply the whole thing out again, you would end up, that's how you would check your answer. Now what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video and I want you to attempt numbers 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 15. Attempt all of those before pressing play on the video so you can go through the problems with me. Okay, so number 1, we have the break-even markup was 40% of the selling price. If the total income for a day on which the store broke even was $6,400, what did the store owner pay for the items sold? So this equation is going to be selling price equals purchase price plus the markup. On this problem, they tell us that the markup is, you should have written 40% of the selling price, so 0.4 of the selling price. Now the selling price is $6,400, so that would be $6,400 equals purchase price plus 0.4 $6,400. So now using your calculator, we could do 0.4 times 6,400, which is 2560. So I'm going to move this to the other side by subtracting 2560, which would give us the purchase price would be 6,400 minus 2560, and that gives you 3,840. And that is your result. Now you should have attempted also number 2, another word problem. So for number 2, we have Ross and Ties had a 2-digit counting number. They saw that the sum of the digits was 6, and that if the digits were reversed, the new number was 18 less than the original number. what was the original number? So these are your two equations that you had to know for this one. They start by saying that the sum of the digits, so the sum of the tens and the units digit, was equal to 6. So my first equation is just going to be t plus u equals 6. Then we're going to go to these two equations that we have. It says when the digits were reversed, the new number, so this equation, 10u plus t, the new number was 18 less than the original number. The original number equation is 10t plus u, and it says 18 less than that, so minus 18. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the 10t to the left, move the u to the left, and that would give me negative 9t plus 9u equals negative 18. If I wanted to do elimination, I could just multiply this top equation by 9, and that would give me positive 9t plus 9u is equal to 54. And my t's are going to cancel. And I would have 18u equals 36. And then we can divide that by 18. So u is going to be equal to 2. Now that I know what u is equal to, I can solve for t's, because t plus u equals 6. So that means t has to be equal to 4. They want to know what the original number is. If the tens digit is 4 and the units digit is 2, our number would be 42. Now for number 3, it's a very similar problem. So again, I'm going to have to use these formulas right here. So hopefully you have those written down. It says Jeff and Cindy noted that the sum of the digits of the two-digit counting number was 15, which means if you add the tens of the units digit, they got 15. Then it says if the digits are reversed, they found the new number. So the new number is 10u plus t. Was 27 less than the original number. Original number is 10t plus u. And 27 less. So now what you're going to do is you're going to bring the 10t to the left, bring the u to the left, and that would give me negative 9t plus 9u equals negative 27. If you wanted to do substitution on this one, you could. So we could do t is equal to 15 minus u. So that'd be negative 9 times 15 minus u plus 9u equals negative 27. And then do distribution. So 9 times 15 would be negative 135. Plus 9u plus 9u equals negative 27. Bring the 135 over so that you get 18u is equal to 135 minus 27, which is 108. And then divide by 18, which gives you u is equal to 6. Now if u is 6, I can plug that into here. So it'd be t equals 15 minus 6. So therefore t is equal to 9. For this one, they want to know what the original number is. Again, the original number is the tens is 9 and the units digit is 6. So your answer is just 96. Now moving on to number 6, 7, and 8. So these are ones that I wanted you to try before actually just watching the video to get your answer. There's that two equations that you have to know for this one. And this one, because it's a plus sign, we're going to use this top equation here. So because of the plus sign, you use the top equation. So that would be f cubed plus s cubed equals f plus s times f squared minus f times s plus s squared. Your first step is to take the cubed root of each of those terms. So the cubed root of 27, a to the 6th, p to the 12th, and then the cubed root of y to the 3rd. So the first thing is to find out what cubed is equal to 27, and that would be 3. And then you divide the exponents by 3. So a to the 6th, the cubed root of that would be a to the 2nd. Divide 12 by 3 would be p to the 4th. Divide 3 by 3 would be y to the 1. This is going to be your f, and this will be your s, and you're just going to plug it in. So it would be 3a squared p to the 4th plus y times 3a to the 2nd p to the 4th squared minus 3a to the 2nd p to the 4th times y plus y squared. And your last step is just to simplify that, meaning that this parenthesis stays the same, so 3a squared p to the 4th plus y. Then I'm going to square this term, so square 3, which is 9, square a squared, which is a to the 4th, square p to the 4th, which is p to the 8th, minus 3a squared p to the 4th y, and then plus y squared. Okay, and that's number 6. Now looking at number 7, similar to the one that we just did, but instead we have to do the second equation in our notes. So that would be f cubed minus s cubed, which would be f minus s times f squared plus f times s plus s squared. Again, take the cubed root of each of those terms. So the cubed root of 8 x to the 12th z to the 6th. And then the cubed root of m to the 3rd y to the 9th. So what's the cubed root of 8? 2. 12 divided by 3 would be x to the 4th. 6 divided by 3 would be z to the 2nd. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. So this will be your f, and this will be your s. So you have 2x to the 4th, z to the 2nd, minus my to the 3rd, times 2x to the 4th, z to the 2nd squared, plus 2x to the 4th, z to the 2nd, times my to the 3rd, plus my to the 3rd squared. Yikes, running out of room. And you just want to simplify that. So your left parenthesis stays the same at 2x to the 4th, z to the 2nd, minus my to the 3rd. Then I'm going to square this. So 2 squared is 4, x to the 4th squared is x to the 8th, z squared squared would be z to the 4th, then plus 2x to the 4th, z to the 2nd, my cubed, then square that would be m squared y to the 6th. And that's your result. Now looking at number 8, same idea as the last one. So again, you have to use the minus equation. So first cubed minus second cubed equals first minus second times first squared plus first times second plus second squared. You have to start by just taking the cube root of each term. So when it has a power, all you're doing is dividing it by 3. And when it's a number, you would have to find the cube root of that. So 6 divided by 3 would be m squared. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. This right here is your F. This right here is your S. So now m squared y to the third minus c to the second times m to the second y to the third squared plus m to the second y to the third times z to the second plus c to the second squared. And your last step is just to simplify that. Leave your left parenthesis as is. Your second parentheses, you have to square the first term. So m squared squared would be m to the 4th. Y cubed squared would be y to the 6th. Just multiply that out. So m squared y 3z 2 plus z to the 4th. Oops, I kind of cut off some of the answers, but that would be number 8. Now looking at the last two, so number 9, it says if the square root of 13 squared minus 12 squared is equal to the nth root of 125, what does n represent? I'm going to start by just going through the left-hand side. So 13 squared would be 169 minus 144. So 169 minus 144 would be the square root of 25, which would be equal to 5. So what I want is the nth root of 125. So what I need to find out is, well, if I do the square root of 125, that's 11. So that's not going to work. But let's try the cubed root of 125. So 125, I'm going to hit the second y to the x, and then plug in the 3, and look, that's equal to 5. So if I do the cubed root of 125, that would actually be equal to 5. So n is equal to 3. So that was a little tricky. You just have to use your calculator pretty much for that one. Then the last one we're going to do is number 10. So number 10, normally I would just solve for one of the letters. But if you look at these bottom two equations, if I were to add them together, I would get 0x, but I would get negative 2z is equal to negative 8. Then I can just divide both sides by negative 2 and give you z is equal to 4. Now I can easily solve for x and for y. So I'm going to plug that into the middle equation. So that would be 3 times x minus 3 times 4 equals negative 9. Well, this says negative 12, so when I move it to the other side, it would be plus 12. So I would have 3x equals 3, which means that x is equal to 1. And then to solve for y, I'm just going to plug it into the top equation. So 4 times 1 plus 2y equals 8. So this is positive 4, so when it comes to the right side, it becomes negative 4. So I get 2y equals 4, so therefore y is equal to 2. And that concludes all the problems that I'm going to do with you for this lesson. I hope you guys all have a great day. Bye.